What's going on, everybody? It's Dusty Hanshaw. It is Sunday, the 27th of September, 13 days out from prejudging of the 2015 IFBB Europa Pro here in Phoenix. And just wanted to give a quick update. I know about 5 weeks ago I mentioned doing these on a weekly basis, and about 4 weeks ago I ended up sustaining an injury to the right shoulder, which coincidentally is throbbing right now, and essentially since then almost shut down everything outside of training, working around it, getting therapies done, and trying to solve the problem. Obviously in hindsight that might have actually been really good material to utilize, but when you're prepping for a show like this, something you've been working on for so many years, and all of a sudden you're in the gym and part of your body's not working the way it's supposed to, it's a little bit scary, because you realize I had already put in so much time and focus into this show, not just the weeks and months leading in, but the years before that. And I had kind of been mentally targeting this show for so long. So at that point, it became emergency mode, where all I could think about was, how do I fix it? How do I get this done? I did, as I've mentioned before, everything. I started with massage, I did ART, I did dry needling, I've done cupping. I've essentially exhausted my options, with the greatest results so far being cupping. And I'm to the point now where strength is returning, but it's kind of plateaued again. I'm still definitely working around the injury, and I'm going to end up obviously at this point working around it all the way to the show. What you're going to see in this video, I'm actually going to put a couple of pictures up from the back during the injury process to kind of give you a better idea of what it was doing, not just physically as far as strength, but visually. I wasn't able, and still not 100% able, to feel the right side of my body as far as how it's opening up on just standing relaxed, on a front relax. It's affecting posing, and like I said already, it's affecting training. I mean, anyone who's been following me for very long understands that I'm more of a DC type training, HIIT type training, where I move heavier weight and focused, but definitely move weight. So imagine getting to the point where when you walk into the gym to do what would typically be a second warm-up set or a third warm-up set, and you're finding yourself needing a spot to complete the reps, and you can visually see, one side not functioning as well as the other side, doing pull downs, and my right side being inches behind the left and not being able to feel the lat. All that being said, it kind of ended up being, I don't want to say a positive, but a mental positive, because I was able to realize now that even when that started to happen, even when I had the emergency, oh shit, this is the problem, there was never a moment where I said to myself, am I going to be able to compete? It was almost not even in the mind that anything other than competing was an option. So it was just work around it, get more therapies, find more ways to get things done. And it's forced me to change a lot of things. I've been on machines, I've been on any way that I can actually focus on feeling the muscle work, which typically I can feel it on basic movements, but at this point there was so much overcompensation to just try to keep things balanced. And of course in your head you got to remember, if you're doing a barbell press and you've got 300 pounds on it, everyone has a little imbalance. No one pushes 150 left, 150 right. But you surely don't want to be pushing 200 left, 100 right. That's where you're going to start seeing more problems kind of trickle down your body. So I find myself using literal machines that were taking all of the left-right balance away, or trying but very lightly using hammer strength machines, things like that, where there wasn't a perfect balance, but the right side being weaker wasn't affecting the left. A bright note is, I can't say that the injury has held me back. Obviously I don't know if I've lost anything due to the training, but I definitely can't look at my pictures now, and I'll pop a few of the ones I'll be taking today here, and say, oh, I lost so much because of this. There's not a blatant atrophy. I think there's a little bit in my rear delt, the right side, but overall, I don't feel like this has been a setback where I can say, wow, I would have done so much better, but this injury took place. So that's been a positive note, is to be able to look and say, 7 weeks out, I have an injury that essentially upended everything, every way I do things, and even with that, just been able to move forward, find a way. And like I said, the mental plus now, looking back at the last 5 weeks, is not once did I think to myself, can I finish this process? All that being said, right now, all we're thinking about doing is getting through the next 13 days, finishing this thing off, and then going from there. I originally had a plan of doing the Ferrigno Legacy following the Phoenix Europa, and at the moment, I'm not really thinking about that. What I'm thinking about is finishing the next 13 days, giving my body a week or so after this show, and seeing if I can establish something with this injury to where it's moving further forward, so that I can make the wise decision both for the short term of wanting to compete and the long term of what's going to be best for my career, for my shoulder, for my body. Is it to take a break and get this thing 100%, or can I safely dance around it, get to the show, do the second show I had wanted to do, and then go into an off season? So that's a little bit yet to be determined. Rather than thinking about it, like I said, I just wanted to focus on this next 13 days, make sure I execute, because as I've listed before online and things, is I consider the debut really, really important. It's not about winning, it's not about any of that, it's about entering the stage at the higher level, knowing that the Phoenix Europa is 3 weeks following the Olympia. I'm not going to be surprised if some big name heavy hitters come in to really quick get their qualification again for next year, so they can have almost a year to prep for the Olympia, for the big goal. So with that being said, I need to be ready to stand with them and, again, prove that I belong as a pro. A lot of people turn pro and that's kind of the end of the line. They don't admit it, but that's their ultimate goal. They did it, they've moved on. For me, even though it took 4 years to get that pro card from my very first attempt to when it was finally done, it was never the ultimate goal. That's why you didn't see a lot of excitement out of me when I won. It was, okay, good, but now I got to prove I belong, and I need to prove it over and over again. Not to anyone else, but really to me, because I've always believed that I can do more than people expect. So that's where we're at right now. We're sitting here 13 days out, waiting just now this morning. It's 4 in the morning right now before I go do cardio. I was 264. Body's feeling good. I've been running about 8 ounces of potatoes, has been my starchy carbs for the last 5 days. I don't really see a lot of flatness out of me, so you're going to see, like I said, progress pictures right now that are going to be happening after cardio here. Those will be with maybe 2 liters of branched chains in my system and 40 minutes of cardio. There will be no food, no pump, nothing like that, and I don't really feel a bunch of flatness. I think sometimes that's in people's head. I feel really good about where I'm at, so we'll see how it shakes out. You'll also see a bunch of change in the next 13 days. I'm definitely someone who, between a Wednesday of a show and a Saturday stepping on stage, becomes 2 very different people. But I'm happy with where I'm at. Chris Aceto has everything on point as far as the diet, all those things going. Training, like I said, typically it's all Dante's position, but at this point I had to go based on how I felt. I had to make changes on the fly and make this work. So everything's looking pretty good. I'm excited. 13 days out for my one and only chance at a first impression in the IFBB, and I plan on making a solid one. So keep following me up. I'll try to get more of these updates going as I had previously promised, and try to give you guys more and more of an inside view. And I'm also going to continue doing them after the show so that we can kind of see how I exit out of this, whether it's into another prep or into an off season, but there'll be a little more detail on how we're doing it. So keep with me, keep watching my YouTube channel, which of course is DH Worldwide. Follow both my sponsors, Mutant and of course Iron Rubber Power Gear, and we'll be keeping up with you guys soon. Much appreciated.